Hey, what is up you guys, my name is Jack Dawson and today, I am the king of the world. Do you guys know this dude Sub? Haha, I am just messing with you guys. My name is SubZeroExtabyte and today, I will enter the Titanic. I am going on a journey with the Titanic. I just bought a ticket for the ship and this is going to be super cool. I always wanted to be on a ship like this one. The RMS Titanic. It is a technologically advanced ship for the 1900s of course. Not in 2017. I know a lot about ships, but this one is by far my most favorite ship. The Bloody Mary is a cool one of course. That is such a nice cruise ship, but this one is a lot smaller compared to the Bloody Mary. Passenger accommodation in public areas were located on the promenade, bridge, shelter, saloon, upper, middle and lower decks. The other three were reserved for the crew, cargo, and machinery. The boat and promenade decks were above the superstructure of the ship. Their lengths did not run the entire length of the ship. The bridge deck extended 550 feet, the complete length of the superstructure. The length was interrupted by the forecastle, 106 foot long, and the poop decks, 128 foot long. During Titanic's design, entirely new features were added which had never been seen before. A swimming pool, Turkish baths, squash courts and a gym were provided. The first-class public rooms included a dining saloon, reception room, restaurant, lounge, reading and writing room, smoking room and the veranda cafes and palm courts. They were a gym and squash court. The sisters were the first liners in history to have them installed. The first class also enjoyed several Turkish and electric baths, which although technically saunas, were decorated in an Arabian style. The portholes were covered with a carved Cairo curtain so that when the light shone through an Orient look was given to the room. The first-class grand staircase was exactly that. It was over 60 feet from the lower landing to the glass skyline above. It had a 17th century William and Mary style with solid oak carved paneling running all the way around. At the foot of the stairs was a cherub light with a very distinctive wood carving clock behind, which although quite decayed in the wreck is still visible today. I hope I convinced you guys that I am an absolute nerd when we are talking about the ship. It is well crafted, beautiful and it should have been indestructible. Unfortunately, that was not the case thanks to the iceberg we see up ahead in the distance. I am getting a little bit terrified although I know that it already happened. Even though this is just an experience, it still is really scary. Yeah, when the real Titanic sank, I was crying all the time because that beautiful ship that went down. And the people of course. But you guys probably are thinking now, how is it possible? He was not even born when the Titanic sank. I know, but my great-great-great-grandfather told me about it. I mean, my father told me the story that his grandfather told him, which was told by his grandfather. So my father told me. But right now, I feel like running. Maybe I can get somewhere safe before the ship will sink. I will probably have to find some kind of lifeboat of course. But I remember, or will my great-great-great-grandfather remember that there were not enough lifeboats for everyone. So they let the women and the children of the first class go first into the boats. Now luckily we don't have any classes at the moment. What class would I be? I think I would be first class, but not because I have the money to pay for it. I don't have the money but I have the social skills. I can talk with the captain and he will allow me to have a first class room or cabin. No. A first class is not a cabin. It is a real room. Probably even better than my own house back home. I do remember that the third classes were rubbish. They were really crappy guys. I think I am walking right next to the third class at the moment. The third class accommodation was much less luxurious than second class. Even so, third class or steerage passengers as they were known still enjoyed levels of luxury compared to most liners of their day. There were over 1,000 third-class passengers on the Titanic. Their accommodation was much more modest than the other two classes. The rooms comprised mainly of 2 to 6 berth rooms. There were only 84 two-berth cabins on board. The size of the rooms compared to first and second class reflected the class attitudes of the age. The first-class Turkish bath was larger than the third-class galley. 1,000 passengers would rely on the gallery but only a handful would have used the Turkish bath. The designers wanted to change the attitudes towards third-class travel. The third-class cabins were not dormitory-like rooms but individual closed cabins, thus adding privacy to the passengers, but they would still have shared their experience with strangers. The general room was the heart of the steerage, third-class community. It was the main meeting room. It was paneled in pine and finished in enamel white with teak furniture. Third-class passengers were in the steerage. They were primarily immigrants moving to the United States and Canada for a better life. Third class consisted of diverse groups of nationalities and ethnic groups. Although the largest number of passengers were British, Irish or Scandinavian, I was surprised in my research to discover that third class had automatic flushing toilets, while first class did not. The reason being most third-class passengers were unfamiliar with indoor plumbing and may not remember or understand the need to flush the toilets themselves. Third-class life was a lot simpler than what the first and second-class passengers were enjoying. Third-class passengers had a simple berth which was shared with other passengers, along with a smoking room and general room. Oh, and guys, the third class had the luxury to be the first ones to get in the water because the third class was located under the second and first class. Did you see that I had to crawl into the water? That was probably the first class, but I think the second class is going down as well right now. So the first class passengers were so lucky, and still, not a lot of them survived. Jack was a third-class passenger, but he almost survived. He did not crawl up the debris, which was kind of silly, of course. I definitely would have done that because I am not planning on dying very soon. I am going to be the survivor of the Titanic right now. I, SubZeroExtabyte, am going to save the Titanic. Well, not the entire Titanic because that one is doomed from the start already. But maybe I can save some people. Actually, no. I am going to save myself. Those people wouldn't bother looking at me, so why should I bother them, right? Let them swim in their pool of water. I mean, the best thing to do is to get to the top, right? Oh no, I remember. First and foremost, it's critical to stay calm and remember your evacuation drill. I am calm and I remember the drill. All cruise ships and many of the commercial sailing operators will deliver a briefing at the start of your trip telling you exactly how to behave and what to do during an evacuation on a larger boat. It's even more important to stay calm because panic can cause people to stampede and injure other passengers. Remember, larger boats take longer to sink, so there is more time. Stay calm. Avoid the elevators completely as electrical systems may fail, and use the stairs. Focus your efforts on finding the quickest route to the lifeboats. If the boat begins to tilt, it can make navigating the passageways confusing and difficult. Use the available handrails and watch for objects that may be loose and start to slide. If you are in the path of a sliding object, use the larger, fixed objects as added protection by positioning yourself behind them. The only thing we can do is to get on this darn lifeboat, which is made out of nothing but wood, and get into the water. I need to get out of here now. I can bring these guys with me, but I need to be fast, so hopefully they just stick with me. Oh, this lifeboat can't go any faster. These days we use an inflatable lifeboat, but this one, oh my god, what is it slow? Normally, a lifeboat is a small, rigid or inflatable boat carried for emergency evacuation in the event of a disaster aboard a ship. Lifeboat drills are required by law on larger commercial ships. Rafts, life rafts, are also used. In the military, a lifeboat may double as a whaleboat, dinghy, or a gig. The ship's tenders of cruise ships often double as lifeboats. Recreational sailors usually carry inflatable life rafts, though a few prefer small proactive lifeboats that are harder to sink and can be sailed to safety. I believe that this is not going to work. This boat is way too small for this much people. Shall I jump out? I think it is too late and the water is very cold. I probably die, but I can still try it again. Oh, the water is cold. As I said before, it is really cold. I have never been in such cold water before. Anyway, I'm thinking about how I can manage to survive the sinking ship. Maybe just swim? No, that is literally impossible. The shore is too far away and I would freeze within the first few hours or maybe minutes. Probably seconds. Though, you can see that the fireman's staircase and the mailroom and the storage room are all underwater at the moment, so I can't get there. I hope everybody who is in there got evacuated. The power room was the most important room, of course. I believe that one is underwater as well at the moment. I should just go to the bridge. Back in the day, they used furnaces. 3 of them. The 3 furnaces at the end of a Scotch boiler were in the form of corrugated fire tubes. Each furnace terminated in a combustion chamber surrounded by water. From the combustion chamber, the hot gases from the burning coals pass through a bank of relatively small fire tubes surrounded by water to the smoke uptake box on the front face of the boiler. In the double-ended boilers, Overall space was saved since furnaces on opposite ends shared the same combustion chamber to prevent cold air hitting the combustion chamber's opposite wall when a furnace door was opened. A baffle of fire brick was typically installed in the middle of the chamber. I wished I could see them because it is very cool to look at them. Anyway, I should try to get another lifeboat because I want to get out of here. Of course I can get out of here by simply dying, but I can get out of here by trying to do it the way the real people did it. Trying. Yo guys, I miss the music. Didn't they had some sad music here they would play? Well, I could definitely listen to some Justin B. No, I mean Frank Sinatra. No. Who wants to listen to Justin Bieber? LOL, maybe someone will see me if I shoot a piece of firework. Pretty cool that they had some firework in the 1900s. I did not expect that. I use them in Minecraft as well. For the same reason. I just want to get out of somewhere and I simply shoot one and someone will pick me up because I am the sub. And the sub can do that because the sub is cool. No, I am not the one who should say that. You should. The funny thing is that China invented them and continues to produce about 90% of the world's supply. It's kind of ironic that we're using their fireworks to celebrate our Independence Day, while we try to be less dependent on them. America's first family of fireworks, the Grucci's, has been in the fireworks game since 1850. But not just for July 4th. They've done 7 straight presidential inaugurations, several Olympics, the Statue of Liberty Centennial, and the largest fireworks display ever, on New Year's Eve 2014 in Dubai. Almost 500,000 fireworks were set off over 6 minutes, lighting up 59 miles of beachfront. Talk about explosive. Workers in fireworks factories can only wear cotton clothing because the static electricity in synthetic clothes can cause a spark that will actually ignite an explosion. Hold your fire until the 4th. Back in 1850, they probably did not have that much synthetic clothing, so that is why they did not bother so much, and that is why it is so dangerous right now. I really have to watch out for the lifeboat because one single spark of the firework flare and this whole boat is going up in flames, just like the last one. I think I am not going to survive this one either, simply because there are just too many people on this boat. Do you see the Titanic behind me? I'm getting emotional just by seeing that huge ship going down. I believe that we could have saved it, but now is not the time to think about that because I will have to save myself. I am not safe yet. I need to get to land, and that is really far away. I actually think that there is no land in this world. I just spun into the ship and teleported to the ship from land, which is probably in another Roblox world. But we can try, of course. We are getting somewhere, guys. The boat isn't actually sinking yet, but it looks like it is going to in a few seconds. I need to shoot this flare right now before it is too late. It is too late. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I certainly did not. Let me tell you guys that hyperthermia is not something funny at all. Anyway, next video we go somewhere warm. I hope. See you guys in the next one.